Hi, this is Kai Marie, and I'm doing my first IGTV video. And the purpose of this video is to share with you what I think you should know before you go to your first restorative yoga session. Now, this is a session that can be taking place in a yoga studio or in a class. This is just basically to make sure that you feel comfortable walking in and you kind of know what to expect. So I hope that you enjoy. Let's get into it. Now, I will say I'll be going a little bit back and forth because I have my notes right here and I just want to make sure that I touch on every point and that we can make sure that we do a video that is very concise, not too long, but very helpful for what you need to know. Now, before I go into my list of 10, I want to first start off by saying when you sign up for a yoga class online, you're doing this for you, right? So automatically when you're going into that space, this is about the relationship that you want to build with yourself. Maybe you want to heal some things, maybe whatever it may be. This is about you. So don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about, oh, I don't have this style yoga mat or I'm not wearing this type of clothing. This is about you. You want to focus on what is on your mat. And guess what? The only thing on your mat is you. So don't worry about what other people are wearing, what other people are doing. This is about your healing journey. Okay? Please. Remember that this is about you. Now, let's dive into it. Okay, number one, what to wear. Okay, so you just signed up for your yoga session. You could be excited, maybe a little nervous, but now you're like, I don't know what to wear. I got you. Don't worry. This is what you're going to do. So all you have to do is go to Walmart, go to Marshall's, go to TJ Maxx, go to the activewear section, and try it on, see what fits. Do a little stretching, see how the clothes, the different styles react to your body when you're doing some movement, and go from there. Please do not go and spend $60, $70 plus on some yoga clothes that basically they're just priced like that so you can be cute and say, oh, you know where I got these from? It's not that serious. You are there for a journey. You are there to heal. You are there to let go of stress, let go of whatever else has been blocking you from doing whatever it is that you've been placed on this earth to do. It doesn't take $70 yoga pants to do that. For me, I go to TJ Maxx and Marshall's to buy my yoga clothes. Now, the brand that I typically buy is RBX. I just like how it feels. I don't have to do a lot of adjusting when I wear them. So just see what works for you. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these clothes. Yoga is a billion-dollar business. So of course they're going to pump out that you need the newest trend of whatever is trending right now with the yoga clothing, but it's definitely not necessary. So again, within your price bracket, buy what works for you and go from there. Don't worry about needing to get the newest and the latest. You're on a journey of healing. Wear whatever pants you have. Now, you do want something that's comfortable, something that you're not going to have to keep adjusting. You want to make sure that you can just kind of flow, do your yoga movements without needing to like pull up, pull down, move here, move there. That's going to be very distracting, and you don't want any clothes that will do that. You also want clothes that breathe. So you don't want something that is very constricting or that you don't feel comfortable in. So just that comes through some trial and error, just trying it out, see what works for you, see what works for your body type, and go from there. But please don't spend a fortune on yoga clothes. Okay. Number 2, bring water. Okay, I definitely recommend that you bring water bottle with you. Now, although this is not a high intensity yoga class, you still want to make sure that you are properly hydrated. So please bring your bottle of water. A lot of times studios, they will have a water fountain there that you can just bring your canister, fill it up there, go into class, and that's a part of your whole setup. So make sure you do that. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated throughout the class. At any point in the class, if you're in a pose and you're just like, I need to come out this pose, I'm thirsty, do it. Get out of the pose, drink some water. And a lot of these instructions the teacher will give prior to class starting. But make sure you're hydrated. You want to make sure that you'll be able to enjoy the journey. Yoga is about allowing and feeling. It is not about forcing, like your body's like, I'm so thirsty. You're like, no, you will not drink until the end. No, that's cray-cray. So what you need to do is just have some water. Make sure you stay hydrated. Next, do I need to bring my own yoga mat? Okay, so here's the deal. And this does tie a little bit into the next, which is number 4, about arriving early. So now we're on number 3. Okay, so do you have to bring your own yoga mat? If you're going to a yoga studio, the studios have their own yoga mat. Okay, if you are going to an event, so say the yoga teacher is holding a yoga session at an event space, there may be a limited amount of yoga mats. So therefore, you may want to bring your own. It may be, if you come, you'll only have access to one on a first come, first serve basis. If you go to a yoga studio, there'll be plenty. Okay, you won't really run out or have a situation where you're not going to have a yoga mat. I will say this. You listening? If you do decide to use a yoga mat at a studio, which is fine, make sure you clean it. And I say that because students are supposed to clean their own yoga mat. Do they always do that? Mm-mm. So you want to make sure that you use the cleaning solution that's there. That's why tip number 4, arrive early. You want to make sure you do that so you can clean the mat, the front of the mat, the back of the mat. You don't know which side they laid on, okay? So just want to clean that off, wipe off whatever residue may be on there. And I just really recommend that you do that. And I say that because what I have observed. Now, usually when I go to a yoga class is because I'm going to the hot yoga. I love hot yoga, okay? So I go there and you're sweating. You are drenched in sweat, right? Like as soon as you walk in the room and you just lay on the mat, you're like, I am sweating. And I've seen students after a session where you are just like, ugh, all in the mat, have just rolled up the mat and put it on the shelf. And I'm like, you're not gonna wipe that down? Not even a little? So I just recommend that you, if you're not gonna buy your own mat because you're not sure that you wanna do that just yet, make sure you, when you do go to the studio, arrive a little early and wipe it down. Now, if you are gonna purchase your own yoga mat, you can do so, again, going to Walmart, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. You can get there, great deal. Also, Amazon. Now, this is the yoga mat that I have, a Gaiam yoga mat. I purchased this, I believe, from Amazon. It cost me about between $20 and $25. That's what you can spend. Again, because of the yoga industry, you can really spend a lot of money, but it is not necessary. So the thing that you want to know about yoga mat is there's different types of texture and also the thickness of the mat. So I think my mat kind of falls into the middle. I think this comes through experience of, as you begin your practice, you can kind of determine the thickness of the mat that you want because it varies. But as you begin to try out different mats, then you'll get a feeling of, okay, this is what feels best for me. I don't recommend going lower than $20 for a mat. I have done that in the past and I noticed that just the quality is not great. It feels like you're just laying on a hardwood floor, or else it really bunches a lot when you're trying. It just it becomes a distracting type of basically yoga equipment if you get something that usually is lower than $20. But hey, to each his own. You got to stay on your budget. That's just a recommendation for me. Now, going into number 4, arriving early. I recommend you arrive a little early, especially when this is your first time going to a restorative yoga class. And why is that? Number 1, you get an opportunity to talk to the teacher. Okay, you can talk to the instructor and say, okay, listen, this is my first time here. Can you go over a little bit with me about your teaching style? You could also, maybe if you have like an old injury, say like way back in the day you hurt your knee, and if you do certain type of movements, it could aggravate it. That's an opportunity for you to talk to your teacher about that. If you have if you suffer from high blood pressure, there's certain movements that you want to be mindful of when you're doing that. And so not that you have to give your whole health history to your instructor, but if there's things that you're concerned about, you have the opportunity to kind of talk to the teacher, the instructor, whatever they want to call themselves, without a bunch of people around. Because you just kind of have a little bit of a one-on-one session, which I think is awesome. The other thing is when you arrive early, if you're new, right, because this is your first time coming, you can kind of say, okay, where do I want to go? Where do I want to set up? Do I want to be in the front of the class? Do I want to be in the middle? Do I want to be towards the back? And that just allows you to kind of find your own space. And also, when it's my first time in a class, I like to arrive early so I can kind of center myself, so I can kind of maybe get rid of the nerves. I can just kind of meditate, go within myself, and really focus on my breath. I'm not too worried about what's going on around me. Okay. The other thing I do want to say, even if you arrive early, you may see people that are already there on the mat. Now, this is a big stickler for me. You want to make sure that when you come in, number one, cell phones are off. Okay, so if you have to, for whatever reason, bring your cell phone in with you, please make sure it's on silent. Or if you can put in a locker, you want to do that. If you come in, if it's you or if it's a group of other people that you're coming with, please make sure that you are not speaking loudly, not laughing. And I say that because there have been several times where, and again, I'm speaking from a hot yoga perspective, but also there have been times when I've gone to a restorative class where a group of people have walked in and they're kind of like laughing and giggling and talking. And it's like, really? Like, this is a moment where people are pretty much quiet. Now, if you walk into a space and the light's on and everybody's talking, that's a little different. But if you're walking into a space, lights are dim, you can kind of sense the tone of, should I be speaking a normal tone right now? So you just want to be mindful of your surroundings. That's very important. Okay, so we talked about speaking to the teacher. That was number 5, where we talked about if you have any type of issues that you want to bring up to teacher, learn a little bit about their teaching style, what have you, what to expect in this class. So that's number 5. And number 6, remember to breathe and be present. So you want to make sure that, again, you're not focused on what anybody else is doing. You are focused on what you're doing. You are here in this yoga space for a reason. You are here because you want to connect with maybe some emotions, let go of some emotions. You want to de-stress. Maybe you're dealing with anxiety and you want to release some anxiety. Maybe you're going through depression and you can't really focus in on that if you're worrying about what other people are doing. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Is something wrong with my body? No. Everybody there is on a different part of their journey, period. And I'll say this, when I first started teaching yoga, I felt a little intimidated because I saw so many yoga teachers that were super flexible and I'm not. And so I thought, oh my God, this is so going to take away from my ability to teach because I can't do a split. I can't do a handstand, all these things that I cannot do. And when I started to look into the background of some, not all, but some of the yoga teachers, many came from like a dance background. And I'm like, you've been doing, splits for 20 something years. Okay. So don't compare your journey to other people. You focus on you. What's a split if I'm always like mean and rude to other people and I don't have a healthy relationship to myself? But yay, I can do a headstand and I can do a split. Who cares? It's all about you healing yourself and you really finding out your purpose and why you're here on this earth. That's it. So you do a handstand later, okay? All right, now moving on to number 7. Starting class. So many times when you go into a restorative yoga session, lights will be dim. Sometimes there's aromatherapy. So that's another thing if you want to talk to your teacher about that and say, maybe I have asthma or something like that, or different smells. I'm kind of sensitive to that. The teacher can tell you, okay, maybe you should go towards this side of the classroom, or maybe they'll decide not to use aromatherapy. Maybe they'll just turn it down. Just have that conversation with the instructor prior to. Sometimes teachers will use candles, and usually they're unscented candles. And, just to kind of set the ambiance and get you relaxed. That all helps with you getting into that kind of relaxation zone. So typically that's when you kind of walk into the class. A start of the class, the teacher could start off with setting the attention. Like, today we want to come and we want to give thanks for our family, or we want to give thanks for being in this space, setting some type of intention. I value myself. That's the intention we're setting today. What are different ways that you value yourself? Maybe the instructor will start off with a poem or with a quote, something that's inspirational that you can kind of bring your thought back to when it starts to wander, maybe about like, oh, she can do that, I can't do that. When that happens, just bring it back to what was that intention that the teacher said in the beginning of class. So I find that to be very helpful. And that's something that I like to do when I do one-on-one sessions, is to just have that intention. And sometimes the teacher can say, set your own intention. What's something that you want to focus on as we go into this class? So I think that's awesome. I think that's something to do even for your day, right? Even if you're starting your day and you want to set the intention for your day. I think it's awesome. Do it. Why not, right? Okay, so now we're at number 8. Enjoy your session. Yoga is about allowing. Just allow it to happen. You know, don't worry about whatever you think, oh God, this isn't working, I'm not doing it right. Just allow, do not force. That's why you're going to have different type of yoga equipment, which I will go into as well. Okay, so the length of the session usually is 60 minutes. Typically there's 4 to 6 poses that you do, and you're holding the poses for an extended period of time. And just enjoy it. And if you have to come out of a pose, it's okay. And many times at the beginning of the class, the instructor will say, okay, we're going to be in this pose for X amount of time. If you need to come out, do this. So there should be cues throughout your session that the instructor will give that you'll say, okay, yeah, I think I had enough of that. I think I got to stand up. I think I got to sit up. No problem at all. This is about your journey. Okay. And also, oh, I can't leave this out, right? Many times towards the end of the session, the teacher will end with a I love it because it's so soothing, and I love that what it represents. So is a universe sound, right? And when you say it's like the moment where you become one with the universe, you become one with nature. Everybody in that space with you just becomes unified. And I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And that's what yoga is, right? Yoga is about us seeing our bodies as a whole, and not just like, there's my arm, there's my leg, there's my head, there's my heart. It's that together we are one, and we have our breath is a part, everything is a part of us. We are nature. We're just not in it. We're a part of it. And I think that at the end reminds us that's what we are. And also class typically ends with a namaste. Teachers will do that. And I love that too, because it's saying that I recognize the light that's in you, or I see the humanity that's in you. Beautiful. What a beautiful way to end the class, right? By acknowledging that I see you. As so many times in this world, I think we exist and people seem so invisible, right? Because people are busy. People are on their smartphones. You know, no one's really paying attention to anybody. So that moment where someone looks at you and says, namaste, I recognize who you are. I recognize the beauty in you. Oh my God, I love it. All right, I got to stay in chat because I told you I can go on a tangent. Okay, so then after the session, so after that, you could feel like, whoa, I just got to sit in this. Do it. As long as there's not another class that's coming right after your session, you can stay there and just kind of have a moment to yourself. And sometimes that's so necessary. You could be releasing restorative yoga is a very emotional and healing experience. So sometimes you just have to kind of lay there, relax, and just kind of take it all in. And that's okay to do that. So yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed those 10 things that I think that you should know before you enter into your restorative yoga session. Some other quick tips I just wanted to add. Some teachers use Sanskrit. Sanskrit is an ancient language, and sometimes they'll use Sanskrit word to describe or to state what the pose is, and sometimes they'll use English, and sometimes they'll just say both. If you're new, maybe have a conversation with the teacher and say, do you use Sanskrit, do you use English? Because I'm not going to know what you're saying if you're using how to do a pose and you're using Sanskrit. So just have that conversation. The other thing I wanted to add is touching. This is a big thing for yoga teachers. Students who are new to the class, we don't know sometimes if you like to be adjusted by touch, like us kind of positioning your body a little differently. Now, the reason why we would do that is to, one, make sure that you're not going to injure yourself, and number two, so that you can experience a little bit deeper into that pose. So those are the reason why. If you prefer not to be touched, you can tell the teacher that in the beginning, or you can just say, you know, I prefer cues. And sometimes, a lot of times teachers, because this is such a sensitive topic, especially when you're doing with restorative yoga, that can be very emotional. A lot of teachers choose not to touch. Now, you will go to some yoga studios that will have like these little cards, and little cards that'll have a little note on there that will say like, I don't mind physical adjustment or something like that. So you can see if that's something, the yoga studio that you have, that you're going to, if they have that. And then perfect, you can do that. So that's that. The other thing is I wanted to show you a little bit about what is typically used in a restorative yoga class really quick. Okay, let's see if I can get this done before 25 minutes. Yoga blocks. So this is something that typically that you'll see used not just in restorative yoga, but since we're talking about restorative yoga, you'll see yoga blocks. Sometimes your instructor will have you get 2 of these or maybe 4. And sometimes these will already kind of be placed in the yoga room. The teacher will create stations, and you'll already kind of see, okay, this is where I should probably go because I see the yoga blocks are there. So please use these. Don't force your body to do anything. Restorative yoga, it's about flow. Let your body flow. Let your body move with your breath. So these are yoga blocks. So if your teacher says go get yoga blocks, that's what those are. The other thing we use in restorative yoga is a yoga strap. So this is to help, say if there's a certain pose that you have to do that involves you bringing your hands together like this, but for some reason you can't do that just yet. So you use the strap. So the strap just helps you go a little bit deeper into the pose. And I love using the yoga strap. It's awesome. So this is the yoga strap that we use. And my favorite, yoga blanket. I love yoga blankets. So this is what's also used in restorative yoga class. I have so many of these. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you see that I had a whole shipment come in. Yay! They're so warm, they're so comfortable, and I love to use these in my private yoga sessions. The other thing that's common is a bolster. So this is used to maybe kind of put you at an angle. This can also go right in the, like the little knee pocket. The knees have pockets, but it can go there. So this is also to assist with your different postures. And this is for your eyes. So this can go a little pillow for the eyes, lay right in the eyes. Also, sometimes you can place these when I'm doing my therapeutic sessions. I can place these right on the hand. And it's just kind of comforting to kind of feel something. It's almost like something's holding your hand. Aww. So those are things that they just really add to the experience. So I hope that you enjoy these 10 things that I think that you should know before you enter your restorative yoga session. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comment section. Please let me know if there's any questions that you have. There's a video that would be helpful for you on your journey. I would love, love, love to do a video on it. So thank you so much, and namaste. Bye.